Many climbers returned with fingers and toes frozen off, sacrificed to the gods of great adventure on the highest mountain on earth. Clearly, not just anyone would do this, but it was equally evident to my young eyes that it could be done. Besides, Mom was always telling us kids that we could accomplish anything. At 5 years old, I'd already decided that I wanted to climb mountains. Someday, I'd be one of the elevated few, keeping company with those exceptional people who brave the elements, tough it out, go the distance. Someday, I'd be a man who, as Jack London put it, sounds the deeps of his nature. Yet the demands of the farm kept me in the here and now. There was always work to be done. Crops to be tended, harvested, stored, cows to be milked, fed, moved, sheds to be cleaned and filled with straw, machinery to be maintained, fixed, and on incredibly rare occasions, junked. Dad, a real no-nonsense businessman, in addition to being a farmer, was loath to throw anything away or buy anything new. The one time we told him about our neighbor's suggestion that we get a new conveyor chain for the manure spreader, because they replaced theirs every couple of years and never had trouble with breakdowns, he looked at us like we'd lost our minds. His stern expression said it all. "You boys get on out there and use the links I bought you to fix that chain we've got." When I graduated from high school in 1969, no one was surprised that I'd achieved less than a 2.0 grade point average. Homework had always been a low priority, somewhere between visits to the barber shop and cleaning my room. In other words, I rarely studied, and my results reflected my schoolwork ethic. That August, a month after my 18th birthday, a dairy farm much larger than ours was home to the Woodstock Festival in New York. No, I didn't attend, but I was well aware that we were in an era of free love and draft cards. By then I was seeing Jean Schmidt, a girl I'd met a couple of years earlier on a blind date at a church hayride, and we'd go into Boulder to listen to the Freddie Henchy Band and gawk at all the hippies on The Hill, which was Colorado's answer to Haight-Ashbury. Jean and I had fallen in love quickly, proving that opposites attract. She was as socially outgoing as I was shy. She had a crackerjack mind, hazel eyes, and an infectious laugh. She also knew what she wanted, enjoyed a joke, and was nurturing in a way I'd never experienced, all traits I found irresistible. A slight young woman at 4 feet 11 inches and 87 pounds, she'd climbed onto my lap on our second date and started making out with me, letting me know exactly how she felt. I was completely taken with her, and by the time we were 17, I knew I wanted to spend the rest of my life with Jean. A few years later, after I'd done my time in a junior college and put in a year of basic training with the Air National Guard, she agreed to marry me. She transferred to the University of Northern Colorado in Greeley, where she continued to study journalism, and I went into the fine arts program. In June 1974, we received our diplomas, tied the knot, and started my first business, all in the same week. Although I'd spent the last few years working on weaving, sculpture, and painting, I'd decided to go into the family business and opened a rendering plant. Buying animal carcasses and processing the dead animals to make dog food, I jokingly referred to myself as a used cow dealer. Because I was so busy with the new operation and Jean was pursuing a law degree, we put off having children for a while. But as soon as she had that locked up, we were ready. In fact, Jean sat for the bar when she was 8 months pregnant, and as expected, she handily passed the exam. Life seemed full of promise. Both of us had worked hard for what we'd achieved, and with a baby on the way, we felt as if we had everything we'd ever hoped for. In 1979, after 12 hours of labor, Jean gave birth to our daughter by cesarean section. It was considered unorthodox at the time, but I was allowed in the operating room when the doctors pulled our girl, healthy and squalling, from her mother's womb, and I took many, many photographs of the birth. Calling such a moment miraculous hardly describes the joy and intimacy of it, but that's what it seemed to us. Our parents, siblings, and friends came by to celebrate our baby daughter, Elaine, the first grandchild for both sides of the family. I was sure life couldn't get any better, and I was right. Everything was perfect. A year later, just after